Alright, so it's a really big time, I think, for Total War right now. And we've just got news that Total War Pharaoh, basically the Dynasty editions are going to be refunded and that they've cancelled the paid DLCs. Now, what does that mean? That means that they're going to be focusing on some interesting new areas. I, for one, am really excited, but I have to remain really cautious when I say this because right now, if you read about this update that they've just released, honestly, it is going to excite you, but at the same time, you're going to have to be a bit cautious as well. So let's begin with the very first interesting piece of news here that we have here right now. So, in the next few days, all current owners of Total War Pharaoh will see that Steam has processed a partial refund to you and that some refunds have been added to your Steam wallet. This is happening because we have lowered the price of the game to a new RRP of around £40 or £30. Alright? So this is good. This is what I think needed to be done in the first place, because the way they launched it with £50 or whatever it was never going to work. And plus, you were always releasing from a limited scope. And what is the limited scope? Going all the way from Egypt to Anatolia. You never went to Greece, you never went to Mesopotamia. At that point, people were not going to pay for, let's say, £60 of content just to play from Egypt all the way to Anatolia. That's how it was going to work. So, that they've done the partial refund is at the same time great. But as great, I do think they could go a little bit further, but what we have here is great. And then they say this: we don't think it's fair that our fans who put their trust in us on Pharaoh should in any way feel disadvantaged for buying the game at the previous price. We've also removed the higher price editions of the game, the Deluxe and Dynasty edition. There's now only one edition of the game available for purchase. That's also interesting. I do think that had this game been released in a much better state, with a much bigger map, then yeah, sure, maybe you could have had some sort of justification. But so far, they've slashed the price, it's one edition. Although I will say that this is still much better. You're breaking the barrier. And of course, I wouldn't say there's nothing new about it, but I would say that it's a much better way for players to get involved into Total War Pharaoh. And now they're going to be cancelling the DLC updates as well. That is, the DLC paid expansions. Because imagine if we had DLC expansions and it was Greece and Mesopotamia and they said, oh no, Greece and Mesopotamia locked behind the paywall. That is so unfair. Right? So I'm glad that they're sort of scaling that down. This is good, but still have to be cautious about this. And of course, the new paid DLC will be a free update for everyone who owns the game. Now, this new paid DLC could either be the Bronze Age, the High Tide DLC that adds in the Sheridan and the other, let's say, Bronze Age Sea factions. One of my main areas of feedback would be to Creative Assembly Sophia is that when you are giving us this new DLC, you improve the base game as well. So if you're going to improve the battle gameplay and all that type of stuff, you should include it as part of the DLC, as part of the free LCs as well. I don't want it that you add in this new free LCs and then you add all the battle updates a couple of months later. It should be added piecemeal by piecemeal, or at least substantial updates after substantial update that improves the core base game mechanics that the game definitely needs. 90% of whatever entails a Pharaoh's fan base. They have said that if this game had a bigger map, if this game had a discounted price, they would buy this game. You know, it's been said on the Reddit, the forum, the Discords, everywhere. If this game had Mesopotamia, they would buy it. Imagine this: if you had a game from Greece all the way to Mesopotamia and you have Total War Pharaoh in the middle, just imagine how easy it is to market this game. You can easily say, now Pharaoh Total War has an identity. Now Pharaoh Total War has a game that has Mesopotamia, that has Greece. And when I mean map expansions, I don't just mean add in the same maps with same regions. I'm saying new land masses with new cities, new custom cities. Imagine besieging the gates of Babylon, actually besieging the gates of Babylon itself as the Egyptians. I think that's going to be a fantastic thing. It's going to make me play the game for, it's like that one turn thing. I think that's going to be great. And I say to Creative Assembly Sophia, deliver on this update. Don't make this game go to Imperator Rome route. Deliver on what you say. As in, if you said that you're going to have a map expansion, and they've said that there is going to be a map expansion, I'll read that out right now, then give us, confirm, be accurate, say that we are going to Mesopotamia, that we are going to Babylon, that we are going to have new battle maps, new city maps for the Babylonians, new architecture for the Assyrians, right? Basically, you're going to get like 10 to 15 new city maps for the Assyrians and the Babylonians. You're going to get 10 to 15 new maps for the Manisians and the Minoans. So I want it to be accurate. You know, we get in this update for 2024 is practically a great and base. It's great. It's fantastic. But we still have to be cautious. But we have to be now hopeful for Pharaoh's future. It's again slashed at £30, which I think is an absolutely great thing. Getting rid of the entry barriers, I think is absolutely great. Getting rid of the partial barrier, getting rid of the entry barriers was also great. But that's not saying that they couldn't have done this like a couple of months before. This could have been done a couple of months before. They could have confirmed, and we are adding Mesopotamia and Greece. Had they done that, I still think that, you know, with all the storm that Total War was in at that time. Anyway, you know what's happened has happened in the past. What we're getting here right now is, I think, really better. It's better than nothing. You can get the arguments that, of course, the game is less than, you know, this many players, the game isn't doing that great, the game, nobody is interested, the Bronze Age setting is wrong. I'm saying wait. First of all, read up on how exciting the Bronze Age was. Second of all, if there was more free DLC, if there was more expansion, if there's updates to the family tree, if there's updates to mortality and succession and so on and so forth, then will that not increase Pharaoh Total War players' fanbase? I know many people have judged Pharaoh on the player base, but also consider that Pharaoh is almost a half-finished game. What Pharaoh Total War needs, and this is according to me, alright, I'm just an average YouTuber, I'm just an average Joe. Are we not supposed to be getting a game where you have family tree, where you're able to have marriage, where you can marry off your sons and daughters off to the royal family trees of, let's say, if I'm playing as Egypt, I conquer all the way to Assyria, and then I marry my daughter off to the Babylonian royal family, and that goes vice versa. If there is succession, if there is mortality, and let me read it out right now. One plan that we've always had since the early stages of development on Total War Pharaoh is to expand the size of the campaign map as a free update, and to introduce even more factions and cultures to the game. Alright, let's stop here for 1 second. This is what I've been saying from the start. From the start of, it was February. I remember the game being announced. I was like, wow, this is going to be a gigantic Bronze Age Sandbox game. The reason the hype went down was when they showed the Pharaoh Total War campaign map. It was literally just all the way from Egypt to Anatolia. And I said, how many times are you going to conquer all the way from Egypt to Anatolia? How many times are you going to do the same thing until you're like, wait, where's Mesopotamia? Where's the Mesopotamian factions? Where's Greece? Where's all those factions as well? Right? So at the same time, I think this is great. I'm going to be cautious around here, because when they say expand the size of campaign map as free update, then I am 100% saying be accurate and say that you're expanding to Mesopotamia. Be accurate and say that you're expanding to Greece. In 2024, I expect to see a blog post saying that we are expanding the map to Mesopotamia. We are adding new factions with new legendary lords for the city-states of Babylon, Elam, and Greece. And I want new city battle maps as well. I want a custom city map of the Palace of Crete. Alright, I really want that. I really want that. You know, they say, here's another thing. Mortality and succession for faction leaders. That is, these new features that players have been asking for. Right? Mortality and succession for faction leaders. So does this mean that we're going to get family tree? Does this mean that we're going to have marriage? and I've said it before. Are we going to get new mechanics alongside new cultures or world traditions, legacy, and courts? Also, the big also improvement to battles, and I really do hope that they balance out the battle unit rosters, because the unit rosters in multiplayer need way more balancing. And if they can really improve the battle pacing, I think this is going to be absolutely great, because this confirms more than anything that Creative Assembly Sophia is ready for bigger Total War projects. If they can turn around and make this game a success right now, then this is going to be absolutely fantastic. And they do plan to reach out more often to the development and listen and talk with the fans. And to their credit, they have been talking with the fans. They have been talking what changes the game needs the most. I'm glad that the game so far is not going around Imperator's route. The game is going to get 2024 update. But I don't want that in 2024 that they update the game and then they, just leave it like that. No. You update for the whole of 2024. Give us everything that this game needs. And then, once you feel that it's enough, I'll settle for this. Alright, I'll settle for this. I've said it before. Give me a year of support with Mesopotamia and Greece, new changes to family tree and politics, and marriage with succession and such, and that's enough for me. I'm not asking them to give me Medieval 3 or Empire 2 Total War. Who knows when that is going to come. But I do think it is time Creative Assembly started focusing on Total War and, just give us more historical content. Also, make this game the gigantic sandbox Bronze Age game that it deserves to be. I really am excited, but I'm cautious, because if in 2024 they manage to turn this game around, look, the best indicator feature of that I would say is it was Creative Assembly Sophia that saved Rome 2, that added family tree, that added politics. They saved Rome 2 and they gave Rome 2 the DLCs it needed. I'm hoping that they can do the same here for Pharaoh Total War. And if you don't get paid DLCs, but you get free DLC map expansions, I do hope that it leads to increased sales, that it leads to increased player base, and I do sincerely hope that they add in Mesopotamia and Greece. I will not stop until this game has had Mesopotamia and Greece. It is insane not to have a Bronze Age game without Mesopotamia and Greece. It would be insane that in 2024, with all these new updates that they add in, that they don't add it. It would be absolutely sane that they add Mesopotamia and Greece. Pharaoh Total War with a game stretching all the way from Greece to Mesopotamia, and then adding in this, Greece and Mesopotamia would be great. And here's the elephant in the room. Are we going to get full confirmed modding tools in terms of campaign map expansion? Because that hasn't been confirmed yet, and I really want to see what it is. So there is a lot of things coming for Pharaoh in, let's say, for next year. I don't know what it's going to be. It could either be this or that, but if we're going to get Mesopotamia, if we're going to get Greece, it's absolutely going to be amazing. I honestly can't wait. This is making me excited, but I'm going to rein in my optimism. It's making me really, really excited. So Creative Assembly Sophia, deliver and save this game like you saved Rome 2. We're all counting on you to a degree, and we get Mesopotamia and Greece. Alright, so let's have a discussion in the video down below. I want to see what your thoughts are. Is this enough to turn you back to Pharaoh? Or if it isn't, then at least tell me why. And would you still consider Pharaoh after the year of updates? You think Pharaoh's might be, you might just do one DLC and then leave it? What do you think is going to happen? I want to know what your opinion is, and I will just try and discuss with opinions as much as I can. And I've been calling for this for a very long time. Now it's up to them to deliver it, and I'm glad that they're still making, fealty. I don't want the game to go Empire to Rome. But let's see how it goes. So don't forget to leave a like, share, comment and subscribe. And I will see you on the next video.